It's the Dylan Joe Basement Podcast. You heard it here first, Caravan.
It's the Dylan Joe Basement Podcast. You're gonna hear it first, Cab.
Welcome to Salem Drive. All right, everyone. I'm Dylan. That's Joe. This is the Dylan and Joe Basement Podcast. Joe is very ready with his boxed wine. Can you give us a shout out to that boxed wine? Give us a show, Joe.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Dylan Joe Basement Podcast, episode 6. We can't wait to get this thing off the ground, and we're starting it out the right way with a vino. Welcome, folks. Welcome, moms. Welcome, dads. Welcome, grandmas. And welcome, second cousins.
Second cousins. And before we get started, we figured for our 6th episode, we would introduce our newest full-time guest. Well, actually, he's not even a guest. He's just another host.
I would say, he's another part of the podcast team, our third wheel.
Podcast team. He's got a lot of responsibilities, a lot of things, a lot of actions to do. His name is DJ BP, right here, our friend. Everyone give a warm welcome to DJ BP on the Dylan and Joe Basement Podcast. Sometimes he goes by DJ, sometimes he goes by DJ BP.
Go DJ, that's my DJ.
So everyone give a warm welcome, shout out to DJ. DJ was found on the side of the road in Beverly, Massachusetts by the Beverly Bridge.
What a shame.
He was just out there looking for work, looking for something to do, looking to be a part of something bigger.
He's not looking for a handout. He wants to be part of the process and contribute. He shall.
He wants to work. He has, and he's the first ever podcast robot. And what that means is that he can assist in almost every way that someone would need to be assisted in a podcast, like holding your drink. He has an arm right here designed perfectly for holding a crystal like rocks glass, and his other arm is for a lot of other things, whatever you want to put.
Slightly larger grasping, but we appreciate him. And welcome to the pod, DJ. I'm glad you're getting in so early on the pod, and we can't wait to see you in the future.
Yep. Cheers to DJ. So so welcome back, folks. We're just excited to be here. Thanks for everything. What's up for today, Joe?
Today we have a very special episode of the Dylan Joe Basement Podcast. We're breaking the format today to get into a crazy wild bunch. We couldn't pick one topic. We couldn't pick two. So we thought, why not let the board pick for us? We're on the game show episode of the Dylan Joe Basement Podcast. We're going to spin the wheel. And it's going to pick a topic for us. We're going to go off for as long or as short as we like, and then continue to spin. And I went on to a random topic, a word randomizer. And I kept hitting randomize and writing down words. And I picked the ones that could possibly be a topic made out of it, but I didn't want to look in too closely because I thought I might be like thinking about it too much. I wanted to be just completely random, whatever it lands on. So I made out our list. I put a couple photos associated with them, and we're going to spin the wheel. And then as we spin the wheel, each topic will drop away. And maybe we don't get to the whole wheel. Maybe we get to one or two of them. Maybe we get to all of them. Who the fuck knows? I don't give a shit. It's a fucking spin the wheel pod. It's episode 6.
All right, Joe. So let's get this fucking wheel going, man. DJ's waiting for it. I'm waiting for it. Our listeners are waiting for it, whether it's breakfast, lunch, dinner, snack time, time to feed the cat, time to feed the dog, snowing, raining,
Who gives a fuck
desert storms. No one fucking cares. All we want is that thing to be spun.
Let's spin that MFer. So here we go, folks. We're going to spin the wheel and see if we can't spin a yarn for all of you at home. All right, here we go. Seeing the wheel?
Seeing the wheel.
Right on their magic wand. Here we go. We got the wheel.
So what do we got on the wheel here? We got
a lot of different things. I wouldn't want to. I mean, we can read them out, but I'll let's just spin it.
I think some people want to read them out just because they're in the car or something. They might not be seeing this.
I don't know.
think
I don't think we should read all of them quite yet. They're going to diminish as we go along, so we can read them as we go along. But if we read them all right now, it'll ruin the surprise. Let's just spin it.
Spin this fucking thing. Let's
see what we get to here. Van. All right. So we got to talk about vans now.
All right, let's start. So
what's your van thought? I know you have some van thoughts.
Yeah, when were vans invented? I mean, let's talk about that for a second. So vans were arguably, top of my head, invented around the time of, I mean, Model Ts came in a lot of different configurations for starters. Yeah. So you're talking.
But I find that truck came first, right? They just extended the back and put a wagon on the back. And they're like, why do you put a cap over this thing?
Well, that's what I'm saying. So like the Model T had like an actual dually pickup truck, configuration situation going on with it. Yeah. And I guess a van would be the first definition would be just capping off that bed.
Cap that shit off.
Yeah.
But then now we understand the van is to be not just capping it like a truck cap, but like it's open the whole way back and maybe add some seats, maybe a bed, maybe a fucking kitchen in there, whatever you got going on.
Yeah, exactly. So the first when vans became popular would be the milkman van and the bread van. Before that,
deliveries.
Once you started having to deliver those things, it started with a traditional truck and then probably morphed over to being able to walk in the back and do that type of stuff.
Yeah. They probably didn't want it also be open air all the time where you're like, it's great for a wagon. You turn the covered wagon into a van, you got to be delivering shit around the town.
Yeah, exactly. So, so like there's one of the most beautiful and iconic milk vans would be the early 40s. It was the brand was Divco Delivery Van, and it screams a mixture of just nice guy pulling up to bang your wife while you're at work delivering some milk type of thing.
I think the kids would call that big milkman energy.
Big milkman energy. So this guy would just go around neighborhoods,
BME,
bang people's wives, drive this super cool van, which was very similar to a cab over. So the engine is in between the seats, and the front is very flat.
You can feel that rumble in the jungle.
Yeah, likely had a straight six, possibly with a flat head on it.
Quite possible.
Cool van. So that's the start of the van, but that wasn't, they weren't as cool yet. It was just a thing. And then vans just kept going on, and they were deliveries. So the first time that we really saw vans for people is the invention of marijuana in the 60s.
I thought we were making that because that's what I associate with the van. I don't associate milk deliveries or shuttle bus, which are all vans. You think about taking an Uber XL or whatever. But for me, it's the van is associated with a hangout. Obviously, the minivan changes the whole vibe on it, but it's the same idea. It's having a miniature room that's mobile. You're not buying a camper, you're not buying an RV, but you just got this room that's behind your seats in this hulking thing, and gas only costs 50 cents a gallon. So it's like, let's fucking keep rolling here.
Yeah.
They have the vans with the curtains on them and everything. It's like, it becomes a little miniature apartment in there for you.
Yeah. And I'm surprised it took people that long to go from the, 40s and 50s bread truck, milk van type of stuff. And then there was definitely a little bit of a time where there was a sort of a hybrid van before we get to the hippie stuff, where the Jeepers Creepers guy drove that one. If you guys remember, two back windows. It's pretty cool. So we get to you get to like the 50s and the 60s, and really the 60s when we start to get into like the Chevy Love, the Volkswagen Bus, and
which might be the most famous van of all time.
The Volkswagen Bus takes the cake on this one.
It takes the nut too.
Takes the nut, takes the surfboards, takes the guy with the guitar, and
takes your lady.
Takes your lady. Careful. Jay and Silent Bob. Oh, sorry. I don't think the Jay and Silent Bob van, when they pick up
it's not a VW, I don't think, but it is a van.
No, it's not. It's an American van, but it's the same crowd. They went to festivals.
It's my Chevy van. There's a whole song about Chevy van too.
Yeah. The Chevy Love. They smoke weed in these things, and that was the start of the van, but you still weren't seeing it was a great, fun social tool, and if you were a free spirit, you drove those. So everyone knows enough about those vans. They were slow, underpowered. They were fun, or not fun if you are in the first Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That's also definitely a hippie van.
Yeah, I wouldn't blame vans for that, but I can hear an argument for it.
They were having fun, but then they picked up a guy on the side of the road.
Well, that's why you don't pick up strangers. You only pick up
slaughterhouse and cut himself and cut them, and it's just a terrible start. But
big oof on that.
yeah, so the evolution of vans, we started with the milk, and then we went to the hippies, and then now we are moving into the 70s and 80s where the hippies are trickling in. But you're also getting the first new van that shows up. And Joe, you probably have a rough idea of what this van is called, because I think it was your first car.
If it is one and the same, it would be called the Dodge Grand Caravan.
Okay, getting close. A minivan.
That was the name of my first car, which was a minivan called the Dodge Grand Caravan.
That's right. So you're a couple years ahead, but the generation of the minivan came in. So
okay. I thought you were talking about the exact car model.
I phrased that a little weird, but you've got
it was a minivan.
Minivan. So you've got the mid 80s now. Dodge has come out.
I always thought it was weird that they called it a minivan though. It's like, is it mini just because the first front of it is kind of tilted in, because it's just as large. There's almost as much room if it's not like an industrial size one. They sell vans at the same size as minivans, but minivans have like a tilted in. What do you call it?
Your
windshield.
2004 Dodge Grand Caravan that was white is probably bigger than a 1950s Ford F100. I can tell you that right now. So
that's what I mean. Is it really a
correct.
minivan just because the nose is tilted or whatever? Sorry,
I have no idea why it's called minivan. Besides, it was someone in the marketing department at Dodge that said,
"I don't want to buy a van."
This new idea for families where we can add seats. But not make it a hippie van, but make it a car-based situation, which the Volkswagen bus was too. You know, like the Volkswagen bus was pretty ahead of its time
for sure.
What it was.
But at the time in the Volkswagen bus, there wasn't a lot of families going on around one besides the Partridge Family. It was more of like a hippie thing where at the same time, families would just buy a station wagon and just go 20 kids strong, sitting on laps and having the reverse trunk seat that they went out of fashion, you know, like a while ago, but we still got to enjoy it. And I know my family went with the full station wagon, which is the predecessor of the minivan. The minivan walked the station wagon walked so the minivan could run. In other words, the minivan is the logical evolution of the station wagon.
Yeah.
If the station wagon is, Charmander, the minivan becomes Charmeleon.
Yeah. Our
viewers will get that.
Exactly. I mean, there's no better way to put it actually, besides the Charmander Charmeleon thing. Yeah. But I don't think anyone knows why it's called minivan. There's a clue. Maybe if I had to guess, we can go right back to Jeff's first rape van, his first car.
Oh, I thought we were working our way up to that.
Because we're in the 80s.
Let's talk about right now.
Friend. Yeah, we're in the 80s. Van, chronologically, we are at
easy on the R word with the van, but it clearly was one.
Mid to late 70s, early 80s is absolute prime. Well, and mid late 70s time. through like almost even present day. But
yeah, really which is also the prime serial killer golden age.
Serial killer rape van. And that was Jeff's first car. And thinking about it, I wish I had that. It's a good car to have. But
it was glorious.
So 1984, Chrysler came out with the Caravan, and compared to Jeff's rape van, you can see why it's called a minivan. You know,
that one, the Crypto van was larger. We can call it that from now on. Now that that's out of the way, just so we don't have to keep saying that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So
I know you're right. That is what it is.
It's funny. I mean, it
is funny. I just don't want to
hilarious first car because just for everyone knows. So
everyone said that when they first saw it too. They go, "What is that rape van?"
Yeah. So Jeff. It was, looking back on it, it was cool as fuck, and it was cool at the time. But it was definitely it was set up for a lot of jokes, and that is the way it is.
And he drove it around town. Like, it wasn't like he got it so he could move, drum sets and speakers. Yeah. But really, and it wasn't like the other van. It really is not the minivan. It's a van. There's 2 seats and then empty space to the back, which meant we put a couch in it. And you could sit on the couch while you're driving.
Yeah, a green couch.
I mean, we never did that, obviously, because that would be illegal, but people could do that.
the best part was that it had 3 windows, the front windshield and then the 2 doors. And then there were no windows at all in the rest of the van. It wasn't even like they're covered up. There's no windows. And it was it was a Ford. It was
the
like
2 doors in the rear of the van, to be clear. You could see at the back only.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It had,
and there was only one door on the side to get in and out, like a classic van.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Nice sliding door.
Yeah,
but,
just like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, like you said, with that butcher door, just woof, you feel the slam of it when it goes with that iron against iron.
Yeah, that was
it's the implication.
Yeah. Fuck. Sorry about that.
Oh, no worries. But that van was the best. That'll be always associated with vans in my mind. Will be number 1, the Volkswagen bus. Number 2, my Dodge Grand Caravan that I had, and then number 3, the Cryptor van, which is just the ultimate van. Loud as fuck too. Just going on blunt rides around, sitting on the couch. He's nervous as hell, which is perfect. He has the most conspicuous van in Hudson, and he's always nervous about it. It's like, well, shouldn't have the giant white van. I never saw someone any more scared of cops than he was, but he was driving around in the giant white, kind of
Dude,
van.
It was like, that's a hard van to get high in and drive around town and not think you're not going to get pulled over. I mean, it was like,
and yet you gotta do what you gotta do.
Gotta do what you gotta do. But it was a great van. That put in some miles. We did love this van. And right now I could use this van for 5 billion things.
Oof. I would love to still have it around.
But that's a good car to have around. I wish that we still had that. It could tow. It could fill it to the brim with shit. Dude, you could move half a house in that thing. And
very good.
Yeah, that was awesome. So anyway, so that was Jeff's van, aka the Cryptor van. So great van, awesome van. But you can see why, if you compare it to one of those vans, a minivan is the minivan. So this is the iconic van that most families had. It probably had wood panels, so it was probably blue. They came in all-wheel drive turbo models from Chrysler, which is fucking nuts. With
turbo all-wheel drive minivan.
Manual minivan, and in Europe they came in diesel.
But was it the old 3 on the tree?
No, it was on the floor.
On the floor.
Yeah, yep, big
hell
pole on the floor.
Dude.
Couple minivans like that in Japan.
You're stick shifting like you're walking on sunshine on the promenade with your big cane. Like you're like the 3-foot tall shift.
I've driven a few cars like that, or trucks that have it's like a pole is like half your size. It's so much more fun, and you feel like you're really.
I would like to try that out.
Yeah, you'd be great at it. So
lovely.
It's good shit. So we'll wrap up vans pretty soon. But there were some.
Let's wrap it up now. We have a lot more shit to talk about.
Yeah, I'm saying there's some awesome, dude. The vans are the shit. I mean, Japan, the Japanese market brought in some fucking dope ass 4-wheel drive Previas that were supercharged and all sorts of cool things with like manuals. And now all these vans, like the first gen Caravan that we mentioned, through these Previas and other stuff, they're expensive. You can't even get them anymore. They're fucking
get a van.
Shit. So
they have Chevy Suburbans and shit. They turned the van to the SUV with 20 seats, and it's not the same. It just ain't the same.
No, the van is cool, not the same at all. And now they're just like absolute luxury mobiles. They're
the Mercedes-Benz Sprinter vans and stuff that people go on tour with and shit.
Oh yeah,
it's like $500,000 to buy one of them.
Yeah, I drove a Sprinter for a while and had that job for 3 months, and but it was a work one.
Your job was trafficking other human beings.
Yeah, exactly. No, it was installing satellite dishes on top of me and Marcus's, if you're wondering.
Thank you. The audience is clamoring to know. Please.
Yeah. No, I did that for a bit. So, anyways, vans, guys. Vans are sick.
We gotta take our first commercial break here. You hear the bell? That means that our time is up for the segment, and we're moving on to the next segment there, folks. On the Spin Edition, episode 6 of the Dylan Joe Basement Podcast. We'll see you next time. The Dylan and Joe Basement Podcast is brought to you by Gorilla Tape, the stickiest tape in all the land, near and far. It'll stick to your house, it'll stick to your car with a stick so discreet you'll confuse it with concrete. Guaranteed to adhere to anything. The official adhesive and measurement system of the Dylan and Joe Basement Podcast. Gorilla Tape. I mean, we got to get back into the pod. Yeah. Did you see that? You must have seen the video of the fucking Tesla.
Oh, yeah, I did. Of course I did.
I thought of you immediately. I was like,
Zapped.
dude, that was one of the most fun things I've seen. Like everyone talked about it immediately because it was one of those like stunning videos. You just as soon as you think it's gonna jump it and it keeps going, you realize it's the point of return, and the nose goes down, the tail keeps going up. You're like, oh my god. It was a great video.
No, it was great because like the best. So like the view that you see, like the first time you see it, you're like, that's nuts. And then the view that shows, imagine that the road is like this and the car is coming from like this, and you see how high
it's the perfect like arc of how you don't want, which is that you're not catching. Yeah, it's a terrible angle where it just keeps going.
Yeah, but like,
the road's way too steep.
Like, no, the road is right here and goes like this normally.
Yeah,
he gets air right back here. And
yeah, it's way too early.
Point, at least 6 feet above ground, and then once he goes
easily,
the back of the car is
goes straight.
High.
Straight up. Yeah, the back of the car goes straight. You're like, oh my
shit. And the thing is, we've all had these thoughts every time we hit a road like that. Like there's one by PC Creams.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The classic. There's a one in Groton too, the roller coaster road, where like every time you go, if you hit it, you sketch it. But yeah, I mean, how fucked up it is that you see the secondary video and you see like 9 dudes recording it and none of them make a sound. Like imagine if that was planned, everyone would be like, oh shit. Oh, but they all just go. Because they realize how fucked up it is. Yeah.
How much commitment this fucking psycho. This kid is he's going down as a legend. I mean, it's like, no, this was a
absolute legend.
Full commitment.
In a Tesla too. So even when it's speeding up, you can't hear the engine roaring, just takes off.
Fully fucking committed. It's the
I love it they did that. I feel bad for the guy who got his Subaru totaled when the guy hit it. But the police are looking for him and they're gonna find him. I mean, if that happened normally, they would still find him, but it's a viral video. It's on the news in Rhode Island. They're like, look at this shit. It's like, they're going to find the guy.
Oh yeah. He's done. He's over. Like he's fine, but like he's a legend.
Did you know this detail?
He'll have respect for the rest of his life because of this one thing he did.
Mad respect. But did you know the detail that it's a rental?
Nope. Didn't know
it's a rental.
Oh, that is so much better. I'm loving this more and more as this goes.
A rental car. And it wasn't rented under his name. That's why they can't find the guy. They're like, the guy who rented it wasn't driving it. It's like, well, then who was? Because you're responsible.
Someone was, and so he's not even familiar with Teslas. He just knows that they are faster than anything else ever. And
yeah, like, it might be his.
We're gonna jump this road in California, and this is gonna be sick. And you're like,
yeah.
Okay.
It was not even their car.
Oh, this just gets better and better. I honestly didn't even know that, dude. That is just so fucking perfect.
Glorious. I had to bring that up. I was like, come on, Dylan's gonna love that shit. I know you
loved it, dude. I saw that and I was like, this is fucking really the deal. So all right, let's get on to our next topic before everyone gets too drunk.
All right, hold on. Welcome back to the Dylan Joe Basement Podcast, episode 6. We're on the spinning wheel of might, and we're gonna get through all the topics here, or maybe even one or more of them. We don't fucking know.
But I'm gonna share my wheel, screen
man.
Here. Spin that
fucking wheel. All right, here we are. We're on the wheel of might here. We're gonna eliminate vans. We don't land on it again.
Do you I gotta ask, I just got a text message from guests. Do you need a sound person? Because DJ can make a sound for this.
Sure, DJ we'll take all the help we can get, buddy.
All right, DJ, you be the sound just because the audio is not working. All right, hit go and DJ will hook us up.
Here we go, DJ. Oh, wait a minute. You still can't hear the sound? It might be on my end.
No, I can't hear the sound.
Here we go. That's more like it. And we're gonna land on manager.
All right, Joe.
Manager. We were just telling stories about this earlier.
Sure were. Manager. All right, let's try to keep this fucking depressing topic short. Joe, what do you think of managers?
You know what? I think it is a good topic because I've had a lot of terrible ones, but I've had a lot of shitty jobs. So they kind of go hand in hand. I feel like some of the jobs I've gotten have had great ones. And actually, it's not really associated with the quality of the job or the style of the work, because I've had great managers at shitty jobs and shitty managers at jobs I preferred. It's just really about the person. And it's really strange, like the way that you run through the gamut of there. Managers usually like me. I find. I don't know if it's because I don't think it's because I'm a kiss ass. I don't really like to like, blow them up or anything like that. I just like to try to just do my thing and then just always do what they say all the time and be like a real like fucking pushover, because they seem to like that. And as soon as things go wrong, if you kind of pipe up and show you have a personality and you can joke around with them in the meantime, that's fine. But I find that if you only kiss ass, which I guess I've just witnessed it. I haven't only kissed ass. Or if you just don't do it at all, you go to those two extremes, they don't like you. People who like kiss ass and don't do anything, they like to have them around, but they will not looking for a promotion or whatever. They want you right where you are, just sitting there right behind them, brown nosing. I can easily say I've had 2 managers that I think they're really decent people. And both of them, when I quit, I should say one of them when I quit said like, please give me your information. I'll recommend you to anybody. And that was when I was like working in the hospital in the kitchen. And he's like, you're going to do a lot of good shit, man. Just let me know if you're much better than this place. I totally get why you're leaving. Here's, my information. Here's my card. Like, let people know. I'll write you a glowing recommendation, whatever. And the other one, they fired him. And I was like, this guy's a fucking legend. Oh, they didn't fire him. They basically forced him out, I should say. It was at the Tavern in the Square, and they had all this shit going down. And he was basically like, you know what? This place is such a shithole. We're forcing this guy out because they want to get more people in there. They're going to suck up. And I'm like, this guy's a legend. And the whole entire staff there loved him. So the day after he left, he wasn't technically fired. So they couldn't say, oh, we fired him, but he left and then he moved to Virginia with his wife, and we all loved him. And they had a big staff meeting the next day. And I remember that they were like, he moved on, it's understanding differences or whatever. And I was the first one to be like, no, you pushed him out. And the whole staff, or I should say the whole bartending staff and the wait staff was like, yeah. And everyone started piping up like, you know what? He had the best, handle on this place. And he had a great sales, and he knew how to treat the customers. He knew how to treat it. And everyone was going, it was like a fucking riot. And I knew that in 3 weeks I was moving to Providence, and I was like, let's light the fire. And he's my favorite manager of all time. The guy was cool as shit. And he just was a nice guy. And he didn't need it. He's like, my wife makes so much money, I don't even need to be here. I only do this because I like to do it. And this place sucks and they want me gone. So I'm fucking gone. I'm going to Virginia with my wife. And I was like, you know what, dude? Managers can be cool. They're absolutely associated with fucking you around, because most of them I've had are complete pieces of shit, and they're annoying. They're micromanaging. And obviously a lot of them that I've had, they're just people like me who've been elevated a position of power. But instead of handling that responsibly and appreciating where they come from and working with people at an individual level, they have one little taste of power, and then they get nervous about people above them, and they just start shitting bricks and shitting on people below them. And it's just complete bullshit. So managers, I think, I don't know, they get a bad rap because they mostly always suck, but there's some good ones in there. I don't know. What do you think?
No, nice story, man. I mean, that's really uplifting, and good for you for being that guy who just says, hey, you pushed him out.
Yeah, I mean, I might have had more to lose if I knew I wasn't moving, but I was like, I was legitimately angry about him leaving because he was the only person I liked. Plus, they were trying to lie to us, so I was like, you know what, fuck it, I'll start a fire.
No, absolutely, I respect that. And if I was a manager or above, and I saw that there was an employee who was willing to speak their mind, these days that's more valuable than a brown noser or someone who's just coming to just get their money and paycheck and leave.
Yeah,
means you're invested, you care. I'd be super pumped to work with you or see someone do that for somebody else who was good, because no one's stupid. So
absolutely. And dude, good managers, I like a good coach or a good teacher. Yeah. They might kick your ass, but if they make you want to perform better for them because you respect them and like them, that's what the good manager is. I didn't want to let that guy down because I respected him and I liked him. Yeah. But if someone just says you need to do X, Y, Z every day and they're a pain in my ass, I don't respect you. I don't like you. I don't want to work well for you. But if you do the opposite of that, you're going to find me working my ass off extra just because of who you are. And then even when you're gone, I'm still singing your praises. I mean, I know it's easier said than done, but just you treat people with respect. You're likable. They're going to want to try harder for you, whether you're a teacher or a boss or whatever the fuck you are.
No, that's it. And I've found that, in my profession, you've got that, and then you've got people who make their subordinates scared, and they perform well till they break. And then it's not sustainable. You get high turnover and whatever it is, you can work
in the meantime, they can't stand you and they're seething against you.
They fucking hate you. Yeah, exactly. So like, It's a fine line to walk to be a good manager, and I think the one thing that you didn't mention about why managers like you so much is because you introduced them to the fabulous game, much like Spin the Wheel, called Ookie Gookie Cookie. Do you want to tell everyone what that is?
I sure
Because
will.
I do know that you were responsible for training an intern relatively recently, and his
All right.
one takeaway
Thank you.
of
Thank you.
this kid was, as an intern, was that Joe taught him the way around the company, as well as, more importantly, what Ookie Gookie Cookie is.
Right. All right. Here we go. So this must have been 4 years ago now. I feel like it was just yesterday, but you know how COVID
Probably
happens.
Last week, but he's just trying to cover himself.
2 years.
In case
Just
he has to run for president.
no. I'll tell the story. It's well worth the story. So obviously I've heard of this game. I've never played it, and I would tell you if I had, folks, but I've never played it because it's an insane game. It's something that it's more of an idea than a real thing. I'm sure people have really played it, but it's not real. So it was me and two other gentlemen that I work with that are
mostly like Ookie Gookie Cookie was being played when you were with two other gentlemen.
Yeah. We would play it on on lunch breaks and stuff like that. No. So I work with two other guys that are my age, and we're equally as immature and professional. So not very for one, very much for the other. And so we had an intern come in, and it's always a kid who's like way more ambitious than we are, because they're like trying to intern at like a professional, like Fortune 1000 company and whatever. And the earlier you get in, they usually get like 10, 12 interns at FM Global every year, or they used to. We'll probably never do it again after this. No, I'm just kidding. But, and then people would go into like, we'd work in analytics and, sales and marketing. And then this poor motherfucker who basically wants to become a computer programmer got stuck in the conference center, which they probably told him, yeah, you work with the audio visual equipment, you work with It's not that at all. It's not the gig. It's what it is sometimes, but really most of it is not that. And this kid had never worked a day in his life. All he did, his name was Ethan Tanabe, and the other two guys called him Tanab because they refused to pronounce Japanese names the right way. And I was like, I'll call him the right name. But he was this little tiny Japanese American kid who, he was tiny compared to me. Like I could have like thrown him around the room like a rag doll, and he was like 17 years old, little guy. And he just had really poor social skills. He wasn't like mean or anything like that, but he just, you could to drag words out of him. For example, one of the days we were just bored cleaning up the break room, and I was like, what's your favorite food? I used to just ask him questions like that, like, what's your favorite whatever, like, what's your favorite TV show, what's your favorite food? And he said, what's your favorite food? And he goes, celery. And I go, what the fuck, man? You try a little bit. He's at least like anything. I don't know what the hell he is now, but he's boring the hell out of somebody somewhere. And one of the days we were on our boredom, we go like, yo, you ever played Ookie Gookie Cookie? And he goes, what's that? And I was like, Alex's dad taught him that. And Alex is like, dude, no, shut the hell up. I go, no, yeah, his dad used to teach him when he was a kid. And I like nodding at him, and he's like, I'm like, okay, buy in. And he goes, well, what is it? And I go, well, what you do is you take a couple of the fellas around, and you put a cookie in the middle of the room. You get in a circle, put the cookie in the middle, and you each whip your dicks out, and you start jerking off. And whoever finishes first, you finish on the cookie. Second, on the cookie. If you're the last person to finish, or not at all, I'd imagine at that point, you have to eat the entire cookie because you couldn't finish fast enough. And that's called Ookie Gookie Cookie. And that's what Alex's dad taught him when he was a child. And he brought it on to us. And the kid's like, that's not real. And I go, yeah, it is, Alex. Your dad taught you. And he was like, it's like, yeah, my dad taught me. Like, he was so bought in. I'm like, just tell him. Yeah, that's right. That's right. He goes, no way. And I go, yeah. And actually made him laugh for like the first time. And then the whole month he was there, couldn't make him laugh at all. So on his last day, they give him his intern briefing. And again, this kid got zero social skills at all. And he's sitting down, and all of us around the table sitting with him, looking at him. And you asking, oh, how was your time this summer, Ethan? My boss, Linda, she's a little bit older than us. And he's like, how was it? And she's the kind of person like you really can't joke around with that much, because she like gets like really like defensive about stuff. She's not really that much fun. She's a really good worker, not fun. And she brings up the last question. What was the thing that like the best thing you learned this summer? And he goes, I learned Ookie Gookie Cookie. And the three of us lost it, because he hadn't said anything funny the entire fucking summer. And he said the funniest answer he could have said to the boss that was not willing to hear it. And she goes, "What's that?" And we all look at him. We're like, no, do not tell her. Do not tell her that. Do not tell it. And he's like, it's a game. They taught me.
It's awesome.
So she looked over at us and she was like, "What is it, Joe? What is it? Tell me." And I go, "I'll tell you later, Linda." And that was that.
That's
Managers, they're quite a thing.
They're quite a thing. I don't have a whole lot of insight. Very much looking forward to spin the wheel again. I have been a manager. I have been managed. I have mostly had good managers.
Yeah.
And as one, I am probably exactly what you imagine it to be. I am really pretty hands off. I'm a firm believer in if you hire or bring
I think
on
you'd be a great manager to have if I was a young lad.
Thanks, man. If you hire or bring on the right people, you do a whole big chunk of the work that you wouldn't have to do, that you would have to do if they weren't. And I'm not saying people who are a pain in the ass or who are whatever it is. Ethically, if you find good people, I don't care if they're fucking fucked up or whatever it is.
Yeah.
As long as you can trust them and you know that they're gonna do their shit, and they're funny and you're able to talk to them and they're honest and whatever, it does bring a big piece. And I had someone one time who did work under me who liked me but didn't really like anybody else, and it was still fine. If you are able to be someone who's universally respected by all of the groups, especially when you work in warehouses like I have,
yes, for sure. Yeah, that demands
you gotta
respect.
You gotta be able to play the game all around. Like, you cannot be
for sure.
Like, you're not one of them. You gotta be one of everybody.
You can't be above it. You can't be above it all.
The C level as well as with the bottom line, and it definitely helps to always have experience from starting from the bottom up, which I have.
If you can't do the job you're bossing around, no one's gonna fucking listen to you.
Nope. Yeah, exactly. So the one thing that I did learn. Hang on. The one thing I did learn is that hang on, Joe. Jesus.
I won't spin it yet.
Holy fuck. So
I thought that was my bad. You said let's get to the wheel. I was like, all right, let's go. And
I want to get the wheel up. I want to get the wheel up.
You want to tell your whole manager story? I'm all ears. I'm all ears.
So one thing that I've struggled with is that I want to be friends with. I'm interested in everybody for the most part. So I have gotten myself in a little bit of trouble where I have had to cover for some of the people who work for me because we were friends, we're similar in age and whatever it is, and then they can fuck up, and then there's a little bit of it can cause issues, which that was almost 10 years ago when this happened. But
that's why I hate being above people, even just the interns that come in. I hate telling them what to do. I'm like, I guess you could do that if you want to, instead of being like, do that, because I just hate bossing people around, and I just like being friends with people more.
Yeah,
I know
one thing I have a hard time with is I like to explain why they have to do something, because I am a firm believer in I do not at all ever like taking orders from people who tell me to do something that I don't really believe in and don't understand why I have to do it. So I might say something to somebody, they don't really get the bigger picture. So if I say, hey, you have to do this, and but here's why. This is a bigger picture thing. It's not like you need to meet a quota because you get to meet a quota for the sake of
giving a reason for what they're doing.
There's a reason for that. So I hope you respect us, your company, your job, yourself enough to make sure you hold that to yourself. And if you can't, just give me a heads up. That's it.
That's
it. So let's spin this fucking wheel. All right, boys. DJ wants to see this wheel being spun.
All right, go. DJ, give it a spin, buddy.
DJ, give it a spin, man. Hit the button. Clever like a fox.
Clever we landed on. What's clever mean to you?
I was hoping to be shame.
It might be shame next time, right between shame and nightmare.
Shame is funny stuff. Clever.
We don't have to go long on any of them. If we don't have a lot to say, we can just pop into it. But
clever,
I know
clever is a word I don't like to see in music, and that's all I know. There's a lot of musicians out there. Pound it, boys and girls. Sometimes when I say, hey, I really like I like Killswitch Engage, for example, one of my favorite bands, they go, oh yeah, their guitarist so and so, he's really the way he writes music's very clever. I'm like, whoa. Slow down a second. Look, I get it, but clever is like a guy who, is in a prison cell who is given very little things to get out and finds his way out, or, worms his way out of
Resourceful,
a
I would call that.
situation or whatever it is. Clever, I just think I'm just not musically inclined enough to really get that term, but it's strictly a pet peeve. Has no
Really?
basis.
I have complete opposite association with the word as you do. That's very
No.
interesting.
Clever in music is a pet peeve, but clever as a word for what it is fine. I think when clever is used in music, it's a pet peeve for me. It's like when people say something, but like as far as being clever goes, it's a absolutely beautiful quality to have in a human. I mean, it's
I think it's awesome. I think cleverness is amazing. I love people who are clever. I love when things are clever. Like, obviously it has this kind of backwards mentality. That's why I put this image of the fox right there, like clever like a fox. Like it's kind of has this like wily nature. You're kind of pulling the wool over someone's eyes and things like that. But it's not necessarily negative. It means like you have this inherent sense of like looking around the corner, like trying to think from A to C instead of A to B. Like you're like, oh yeah. I'm not going to go with the natural mentality. I'm going to try to like work around, or it's not necessarily screwing people over. It's more like being brilliant. Like you're becoming like smarter or thinking alongside things. And I think that people who are clever, they tickle me silly. I fucking love clever people and clever things. I like
do
it
too.
because it also has that anti authority kind of a connotation in my mind where I'm like, oh, this guy's clever. Like people who are in supreme positions of power, they're clever to get there, but they don't have to act clever to be in it. Like there's managers, you rule with an iron fist. There's no clever at that at all. It's just that you do this 1, 2, 3, A, B, C, ba, ba, ba. Not clever at all. It's the opposite of clever. It's fucking mundane and it's straightforward and it's annoying. And I fucking love clever. It's tricky. It's smart. It makes me laugh. It makes me smile. I like when things are clever.
Yeah, nope. Clever is a strict positive. Even in music, I just wanted to go with my first thought.
I love that. You go first thought. I like that.
First thought. I don't like when people say it about music. That's all. But clever as someone who's a person, it's almost like they can play by the rules and then also get ahead of the game somehow with some way that no one else thought of because they are smart and thought about it.
Yeah, I like clever plans. I like clever jokes. Clever jokes are some of my favorite. You might not laugh as super hard as like if someone like rips ass in a movie theater. Like that's a good hearty gut laugh. But the clever joke, I'll give me 1 second and I'll shake my head and I'll be like, that was fucking clever.
You got any clever jokes for us right now? I mean, I know it's hard on improv.
I know. I wish I did. I really don't have any loaded up right now. I should.
Well, like my whale one's kind of clever, isn't it?
Oh, okay. So I do have one that it's a little bit clever. Okay, I remember it because I heard it last week. And you say it in a room of people. I told it to Dominic and he was clever and he didn't even wait for the answer. He just laughed after I had the setup, which means you're pretty clever to get it.
Yeah.
And you go like this. You look around at people and you go, I have something to say. Someone in this room has been possessed by an owl.
Oh. Yeah.
See, you're clever too. You don't have to wait for the answer. You know, the people who aren't so clever might say something like, who is? Yeah. And then you go, see, told you.
Yep.
I'm talking about.
Like, well, it's another one like
that's clever to me because you're a step beyond the answer and you're clever for laughing, but you don't have to give the answer. You just go, I see where this is going. I'm clever, or like to think I am.
No, I do like that. Another good one would be like a more modern day joke, just because most people read instead of listen or watch, and a lot of reasons because they're on Instagram or something. Right. And it's a picture of like a dude being funny, like he's just got a good smirk on his face. And it's like just two dudes with small penises looking at each other, and then you go, "There's only one guy there," but you're looking at, you're like, "Oh shit, it's me," because you're looking at the other person.
Yeah, it's clever. Yeah, I like that shit.
That's a real clever joke. It's almost like farting, but not. It's a little more clever than that.
It's more.
Anyways, let's have DJ spin this fucking wheel.
Clever doesn't mean the most funny, but I do like a good clever. Eliminate that. DJ, you ready to spin the wheel for us?
He's ready. Yeah.
All right, let's go, DJ.
DJ, hit the wheel, man. Ooh, naughty DJ. What do you think of that, man?
Ooh, that's naughty.
As a arguably the only virgin in this room.
I mean, I don't know what he was up to before we picked him up.
I found him on the side of the road. He is.
I mean, usually hitchhikers aren't virgins in my experience, but I mean, what do I know?
Yeah, that is true. That is very true. So naughty.
I don't know what to say, but my initial thought is that its connotation has been completely changed in the modern day.
That's all I was
When
gonna say.
Santa says you're
thought.
on the naughty list, that's the only version of saying naughty you're allowed to talk to kids about today. Naughty is completely associated with sexual proclivities now. Like you're being naughty, you're being kinky. Like, ooh, that's quite naughty. It's like it's a sensual, like weird word in that way. Where it used to just be like you're being, you know, disrespectful or bad. Like, don't be naughty, be nice. But now if you're being naughty, if someone's like, I'm naughty, I'd be like, oh, you like to like, you know, not call people back and like you like to steal. Like I would be like, no, if you're naughty, like you have to get down weirdly.
Yeah. I'd say the ratio of my grandma calling me naughty versus someone I'm in bed with is about at least,
it's a good 1-to-1.
Realistically, somewhere around 8,500 to 25,000 to 1. So
that's the weird thing about it. I don't associate that word with that.
Calling me naughty because I'm, you know, taking cookies from the cookie jar.
Yeah, the cookies in the cookie jar. Don't be naughty. Yeah, but now you're naughty.
Versus what your imagination of me could think I could say in the bedroom. So usually my grandma's been saying that, so I'm a little turned off by the whole concept. But I'm also down. So, anyways,
I couldn't skip past the word though. I'm like, it's such a loaded word, but it's such a weird connotation. It has two different meanings completely.
Yeah,
I mean, it always means not good, but sometimes it means really good.
Except for specifically in Crash Bandicoot, their producer or
Naughty Dog.
Such a good game, dude. I want to play that right now.
Yeah, and they're still around. They make Uncharted now.
Do they really? Uncharted was so good. Crash Bandicoot.
That's Naughty Dog, yeah.
Absolutely incredible. And I might play that when we're done this podcast somehow through Switch or something. It's actually probably an Xbox. Yeah. Oh, dude, that would be fun, man. That was good. All right. So I think DJ says it's time for another round of spin the wheel.
Spin the wheel. All right, let me share my screen again.
You ever played spin the bottle before with girls?
Oh yeah, it's quite naughty. That was the first time I ever kissed a girl. I kissed Megan Barker and spin the bottle. It was weird as fuck. I don't count that as my first kiss because it was forced.
Yeah.
We were both kind of nerdy, and they're like, "Oh, you guys get a kiss," and I was like, "Oh, poor both of us."
All right, I appreciate your honesty.
Sorry, Megan.
You were never nerdy, my friend.
Well, I wasn't getting down with the other chicks like all the other guys at the party, where all the fucking cool kids were spinning it around together, and I was like, "Oh, I hope I don't get Joe." God damn it.
Was this
like, all right, Megan got Joe. It's not so bad.
Was this at Lauren C's basement party in 6th, 7th grade?
It's gotta. Yeah, it's around that time, so it probably was.
Yeah, because I had a confession from someone recently about I was their first kiss, and I didn't know that, which I definitely was for a couple of them. I could tell, but
really, should I not have said her name? I probably shouldn't have said her full name.
I'm trying to keep names out of it, just so everyone's on the same page. But
sorry, Megan. I think Megan. She's with Doug.
She is, yeah.
So good for them.
Absolutely perfect.
I mean, is that one of the couples that you're just like, what a couple sweethearts? I'm so glad they're both together. Like, I have nothing bad to say about either of them.
Oh yeah, I'm all about them.
They're such sweet people.
I want to give them money when they get married.
Yeah,
type of support, and I don't support a lot of couples, actually, believe it or not.
Well, usually you can be like, yeah, I like them together, but one of them I much prefer as a person or as like a hang, but they're both really fucking cool, and they didn't even hang out in high school really that much, and now they're dating for a while. Here's
the thing, like I honestly think like I wish the best for everybody. I just think 9 out of 10 people I find out are getting engaged or dating, I cringe. I'm like, oh shit, that's not good. Like, and those two are the 1 out of 10 exception where I go,
oh yeah, you're like,
yes, great. Fully supportive of this.
I agree more. I couldn't agree more.
But most people, I go, this is not a good idea. You guys are gonna go through 15 years of your life before you figure this out. But it is what it
And
is.
hopefully the cops won't be involved by the end. But the world's a
Probably
funny
not.
place.
I mean, most people
DJ
not.
BP, will you give us a spin there, buddy?
DJ, give us a spin, my boy. He's giving us a spin. Nightmare. Thanks, DJ, man. Nice pick, man.
Nice one.
So Nightmare. I've had a lot of nightmares. Don't like them. I'm
Not a
also
fan.
someone. Yeah, no,
No one is really, right?
no.
I mean, inherently having a nightmare. I mean, even if you like watching scary things, no one likes being stuck in one without realizing that it's not real. It's terrifying.
yeah, scary.
It's like the
things
most horrifying scary movie of all time. Your brain makes it to yourself to scare you the most of anything. Nightmares are the scariest thing you ever witnessed because it's tailor made for you.
Yeah, and it's pretty real at the time.
Of course it is. It's the most real.
So when I was a kid, watching scary things would give me nightmares. Now it doesn't at all. Like my nightmares are a lot more chemical feeling and random.
Mhm.
Like if I've been binge drinking for like 4 days straight, probably get a nightmare. So I can predict that. But as you get older, they definitely do not get as scary. I know that. So they get more like traumatic sometimes, but overall you forget them. I have learned. So one thing, as someone who's a vivid dreamer, I remember almost every dream I've really ever had. If you wake
It's
up,
a gift and a curse.
so there's a solution for those of you out there who maybe struggle with nightmares, because it's very common. As someone who has sleep paralysis and other things, I get it. If you wake up and then say something really, 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 really fucked up happens in your nightmare, if you obsess and think about it, you'll remember it probably for a week, maybe for a year if you really are unlucky. But if you wake up and force yourself to change your thought pattern, think about something else, and move your eyes side to side like this, and then just start your day and don't think about it, you'll probably forget it.
I mean, that's why people forget most dreams. I mean, it's so vivid, but it's almost like your brain has like a switch where it wants to teach you a lesson, but as soon as you wake up, it's not treated as vividly as a real event. Because if I remembered all my nightmares as if they happen in reality, I wouldn't forget any of them. I've had much like nicer things happening in my life that in my head, they're terrible and I remember them forever. But the nightmares that have been awful, you forget most of them. I do remember some of them though. Some of them do stick.
Well, if you're a person who's kind of addicted, so say you're someone who's addicted to like the news, and the news means just car accidents, war, fucking plague, this type of thing. You kind of get addicted to the rush of like bad news, death, destruction, whatever it is addicting. It really is. It's addicting and it's exciting. And no one says that word because exciting does not mean positive or negative. It just means that it excites
you. Yeah, but people associate with being positive, so they're hesitant to say that the news is exciting.
You're excited to say that a car accident,
war is exciting. Tragedies are exciting.
With people, exactly, they are exciting, and that's not
they're terrible.
It does not mean that is like, oh, it's so exciting. It's like no, it's exciting for your brain because it's addicted to something about it. And if you don't realize you're one of these people, which most people are until they figure it out, you realize that you're addicted to bad news and that type of stuff, and nothing else has meaning. Like, hey, Joe, how's it going? Oh, actually, it's going shitty. All these things happen to me. Like everybody on Earth could say that. Some people don't. Some people do. Because sometimes the most exciting thing in your life that happens is
doesn't happen to you.
Unexpected death that happened when you're younger or something like that, and then you set your course off there, and some people you don't realize that. So every update you have, that's the most exciting thing that happened to you. So just going to the movies with a friend and having a good day is like you don't think about it, because it's like normal, because nothing's as exciting as like waking up to a shitty fucking terrible thing. So that's what I'm saying about that nightmares.
I
if
agree.
You do not think about your
just a quick tag on what you just said though, beyond nightmares, that I realized this week that I mean everyone knows this already, but just putting into words that like the negative news cycle and like just hearing exciting terrible things, like following the Ukrainian war and all that shit, it's like it is a drug. It's a drug that people use. Like people who are sober use that as a drug, and people who aren't sober use it as a drug. They just watch it over and over again, all the bad news. They freak out about politics, about current events, and you get that spike of excitement. And like you said, it's not positive, but it is exciting, and it gets your body going. It gets your brain going. You get you get angry, you get panic, you get worried, and then you come down, you go to bed, and people, they crave that. And I see myself doing sometimes too. I'll like watch videos on Reddit for like a half an hour. It's just people like getting in arguments or whatever, like fighting and like a McDonald's, and it's entertaining and it's exciting, but it's fucking negative. And after I'm done watching, I go, oh, I feel like I'm sick, because it's like doing a drug where the come down is so hard. And I think a lot of people, at least I can speak from the American perspective, that people just get addicted to like go home, turn on the news. You think you're like relaxing and seeing current events, but really you're just watching like anger, fear, tragedy just being injected into your brain. And you think you'd be turned off by that, but people are turned on by it because it's exciting. And it's fucking bad for you though. It makes you feel like shit.
The problem is we're designed for that. So like it hints upon one of our primitive reactions to things, and that's danger. Mm-hmm. So
you're built to respond to it. So if you respond, you're like a butterfly flying by or little posy falling over, then your body can't train yourself and survive better. So it's good that we're built to be excited by danger. But the thing is, it's fucking tragic. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, exactly. So I'll wrap this up real quick, but like, like seeing Ukraine, that type of stuff, our primitive brain doesn't understand. We're watching a TV and seeing a tank getting blown up and it's addicting.
You're separated from the reality of it to some degree.
Exactly. And then like, the reality is that nothing on this earth has ever happened that has immediately really affected you or me, especially the news. Even Ukraine, even 9/11, even these things, like we were lucky enough to not be a part of these things. But overall, if you just didn't have a TV or a phone, we wouldn't be having these conversations. Like, that's right. You wouldn't know. Maybe gas prices go up and you have to read about it or whatever it is, but like you just wouldn't know. And like a best example is like, I'm just trying to get through the show Ozark, and I'm so sick of it because all it does is nail down this.
That's a perfect example.
I cannot stop watching, and it's
so exciting, but it's so depressing.
So depressing, holy shit, and terrifying. I'm like, oh my god, my heart rate's increasing every time I watch the show.
Oh, wait till you see the last episode of this most recent season. It is a definition of exciting and depressing.
I can't even imagine. I don't even know. I just know that Helen just got her head blown off like 4 episodes ago, and like, it's just fucking nuts. So let's DJ. DJ is gonna hit up the fucking wheel. Nightmares suck. Do not pay attention to them. If you do, the reason I said everything I just said is because if you wake up and you're one of those people, you want to focus on your fucked up dream, just do yourself a favor and ignore it immediately and focus on fucking your dick or something. Like,
yeah, it's true. You can try to train yourself to realize that it's not
train yourself
as scary,
to not think about it the second you wake up, and you will forget it because it's usually traumatizing. It is your job as well. If I just had a dream that I cut Joe's fucking leg off, and Joe's screaming and cuts my fucking dick off, and then we have this whole big argument, that can happen in dreams, and it's traumatizing. Don't think about it. You will not remember it.
Yeah. I think that the dreams are meant to train you for realities, but not meant to stick with you like real things.
Yeah, dreams are weird. So anyways, DJ, pull up the fucking bullshit. Here we go,
man. DJ. That's my DJ. We're going to eliminate nightmares.
All right, DJ's going to give us a spin.
Ready, DJ?
DJ, spin it up, boy. Plasma.
I told you this shit's random.
Yeah, so plasma is weird. The only thing I can say is I wish I had a lighter right now. Because every time you get high or are sober and light a match or a lighter, and you just stare like this, you just stare at the flame and try to understand what this is that just existed out of literally nowhere.
Yeah,
you can understand how strange plasma is because fire is plasma, and it's just
right here.
Like all of a sudden you have a match and the red stuff, whatever you call that, and you light it, and
phosphorus.
Then you just have it. Phosphorus, yeah. Then I thought the phosphorus was the tip, and then the red was I don't know. You have
the tip is red though. Am I wrong about that?
The tip is red. Then
That's
you
the
just light a
phosphorus.
match and you just stare at it closely and just watch it, and there's no way you can be not amazed by that. That's all to plasma.
It is amazing. It's like an unnatural thing. I mean, most animals on the planet, even the animal planet that we're from here, they never experience plasma really. If you see a lightning strike or a fire, that's the only kind of thing you mean close to that you're going to see. But I remember asking Mrs. Gorman, our sixth grade science teacher, about that and being like, what is plasma? And they never want to explain it to kids. They're like, well, first of all, now I realize that I'm older. They don't fucking know either. I used to think they knew, but they're like, it's too hard to explain. But they didn't fucking know either. But it's the fourth state of matter. It's strange as hell. And it's not a solid liquid or a gas. It's basically excited electrons that are so fucking excited you can't even control them in a bottle, in a fucking cup, in your car. But it's amazing. It's just basically this amorphous, energized thing that exists. And whether it's in the surface or the core of a star or it's in your lighter, it's like we just have a word for it. It means like energized craziness, because gas isn't plasma, but plasma is a swirling, waving state of energy and weirdness. And it's in your TVs, it used to be, but that's not really plasma.
Yeah, exactly.
Liquid plasma.
It's very odd, and your lighter is plasma, and
it's super energetic and, powerful and deadly and shit. If they actually do invent the real plasma ray, you better watch out.
Yeah, anything.
Because all it is directing all the energy of electrons into one focused thing, and it'll destroy anything.
Yeah, anything from Halo would be pretty wild, man. Pretty wild. So, all right, DJ, that's plasma, friend. Me or Joe don't really know what it is, and neither is Mrs. Gorman. So give us a ring. Here we go. Back to the wheel. DJ BP, give it a spin. Gallop. What the fuck? Like, what kind of topic is gallop? All right. So
you just said I put the wheel up. That's gallop.
DJ, nice pick, my friend. DJ can't gallop. He has wheels. You can't see them, but he's got wheels. He can go.
Interesting. Yeah, galloping might be the fastest way you can travel without wheels. Do we think so? On land, I should say.
Do cheetahs gallop or do they run?
I guess they call that sprinting, though, don't they?
Well, they do. So however, DJ can go probably 120.
Being towed? Oh, on his own will. I forgot about his internal engine.
No, DJ. I didn't say how DJ can go 120 miles an hour, but right now him and I could go 120 for sure.
All right, I hear that.
So it's possible. But galloping is, horses gallop.
Well, let's get right to it on that fact. You ever rode a horse before?
No. Have you?
No. Well, yeah, I have. But I've only galloped on a horse for like a very small period of time, and it's fucking terrifying.
Wait, what do you mean? Like, where? Let us see. Like, where did you gallop?
Only at the end of your time at Pompous Syndicate Farm, when you're riding on a horse, did they even let you do that, because they have to train you how to be on a horse walking and being comfortable, and then trotting, which is terrifying because it's like horse jogging, where it's like dun, 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 going up and down the whole time, and then galloping. You're completely at the mercy of the horse. And especially if you're a kid, you have no reason to. It's basically telling a horse, go the way you want to go fast, and I'll try to stop you. And they will not. So they don't let the kids do it until the very end. And they let it do it for like 10 seconds. And they go, and then people go up and they go, whoa, whoa, and they slow the horse down. I've never galloped on a horse, open land, just you and the horse just galloping. I can't imagine how thrilling that would be and how exciting. As we said earlier, not necessarily always positive, but the excitement of being on the back of a horse, just going full speed as fast as you can, just galloping in. I mean, we're talking about like 40 miles an hour on the back of this thing, and you're just up and down charging, and this muscle mass is going. I mean, the freedom involved. I mean, it's like the depiction of freedom. Before cars, the image of freedom was being on the back of a horse and just going into the distance as fast as it can go. Is there anything more free than watching a wild horse run into the fucking horizon? It's galloping off. It's fucking
So
awesome.
two things I picked up on this is that the last time you galloped on a horse, it was Brokeback Mountain style, and you were with another dude or a girl. And then on the
No,
back,
I was on the horse by myself, but there was multiple people that were like talking to the horse off the horse, being like, "Hey, whoa, cinnamon biscuits or whatever," you know, because they don't trust it to be.
biscuits.
If it was, they wouldn't just be like, "Hey, kid, go ahead and tell it to stop it," because then it's a lawsuit, you know.
Yeah, no, totally. So, as someone who has raced cars for their early 20s, avid mountain biker, avid cyclist, all the things like that.
Yeah.
The last boss for me is horseback riding, and I'm very interested because of what you said, is
Yeah.
that it's the ultimate of primitive American and other places way to travel.
Worldwide, really. I mean, as soon as they establish horses in their culture, like just the freedom of being able to go faster than any man ever would, and it's a living thing. So it's choosing to go step, just go, and kick you right off. I mean,
So I
you
think
should talk to Amanda about it. I mean, Amanda's galloped a million times, and I can't imagine the feeling of like letting it loose, like in having full control or at least partial control of the animal to just get loose, just let it rip. Turn the governor off, and there you go. Gallop.
Shout out to Amanda. You're really cool. We love you over here at the DJBP.
She's coming home soon. She's supposed to be coming home at the end of May, so it'll be good to have her back in Massachusetts.
If she wants to be a guest, tell her to watch this episode, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I'll cut the clip out for her. But I can't imagine getting her on here without dragging her in and kidnapping her. But we'll see.
Whatever we're gonna do, man, it's fine. So, anyways, horses galloping. Here's my thoughts: is that 200 years ago, besides the Renaissance era that happens a couple, years before it, is that I'm not sure, unless you live in a city, you had as many existential crises that folks have today in the modern day world, because they were so connected to reality. We are so separated from the living world through screens and bullshit, whatever it is. Back then,
Right.
You were your job is to ride this horse and to have a connection with this horse emotionally.
Your life depends on it, and its life
physically,
depends on you.
emotionally. Your life depends on it. You could be fighting wars in this. You could be just doing farming things. You do whatever it is. And then our ancestors spent their entire lives connected to the earth, to the horses, to animals, to these things. Everything had more meaning and purpose. I mean, it was like they didn't have to overthink shit because they had everything.
There's no time to. You can't
slight
overthink
struggle,
things.
but you also are connected to everything. So galloping sounds fucking like a gigantic orgasm to me, and I'm so into it.
And I think all the horse girls of America can tell you it's exactly the same as that. All right, DJ BP, let's hear the next
fucking nailed it. So on that note, DJ is going to bring us back to Orgasm Land from galloping and let us know what's up. So where are we going, DJ? Hit the button, man.
I think we're going to take a commercial break after this next one, if that's okay with you, Dylan.
That's okay with me.
And all right, DJ too. DJ, are you ready?
DJ's ready.
Our next word is hoodwink. Hoodwink.
I have absolutely no idea what that means.
All right, so I'll tell you what that word means to me, and maybe we can kind of spitball off of that. So hoodwink, my rough definition would be to trick, to deceive, and kind of, I guess, clever, the word we used earlier, clever way. If you're hoodwinking somebody, you're doing the thing, you're pulling the wool over their eyes, you're tricking them. To hoodwink somebody is to be like, I'd say that DB Cooper did a good old hoodwink to the folks there. Like, obviously it was a hostage situation, but he didn't use force, and he didn't use violence, or he didn't use power. He used trickery in order to kind of establish his goal here. Like, to hoodwink somebody, give them the old slip, trick them.
Yeah. All right.
Have you had any good hoodwinks in your life, Dylan? Any good tricks you pulled?
Oh yeah, I could name about probably 10 relationships I've had that I was hoodwinked in.
Give the old hoodwink.
The old opposite sex, either me or them, or hoodwinking each other, and I'd say that sums up about my life.
That's what people are tuning in for, man. The real stories.
The real stories. One day they will all come out. But the only common denominator in the hoodwinking relationship story is me. So
Well, you don't know their full history. They could have hoodwinked a lot of people too. I'll give you some credit there.
What do you call like multiple tens of people? So say we're talking like 40 people.
40 of humans.
40 of humans. The only common denominator I know of the being hoodwinked is me. So that says something. And then besides that, have I been hoodwinked? I've been fucked over by like a kid on a train one time when I was 4.
So that's the slight difference between fucked over and hoodwinked. Fucked over can be open and like just brutal, but hoodwinked, you usually only figure it out after it's already happened. Like you don't know what's happening.
What he did is this is what happened. He set up this game. So I was on a train, sleeper train to Florida when I was 4 or 5 years old.
Yeah.
And lovely kid comes over, wants to play a game. I said, cool, games are cool, let's play a game. So he told me to get all my mom's pennies and dad's pennies. So he had some pennies. I brought like 100 pennies that we got from all sorts of places in the train. We're playing this game.
That's almost an American dollar by my count.
Yeah, but it's like a lot of pennies though. So,
about 100.
Yeah. So it's a lot of pennies.
That makes a lot of sense to me.
He's got this new game he wants to show me. So we play this game and he said, here's the game, put your pennies over here. And then you get this, I get that. And then I lost immediately. He took all the pennies and left.
You were hoodwinked. You were certainly hoodwinked
so
in that
bad.
situation.
He took all the pennies. I told my mom and dad, I was like, hey, this kid took all the pennies in this game he just invented. But the game was I give him my pennies and he leaves.
Oh, well, that's not hoodwinked. That's just a kid way of stealing money. But he still did hoodwink you though. Hoodwinked. He did hoodwink you though because you fell for a trick that you were not ready.
He told me he had a fun game to play. I just had to gather all the money I had and put it on the table.
What a fun game.
I mean, play this cool game. And I was like, yeah, sounds good to me, man. I'm down. And then he just literally just put it in his bag and left. And I was like,
that's fucking brutal.
Like, yo, dude, this game's real sick, dude. How'd you learn? Like, this is a cool game. How'd you learn this game? Like, you really?
Yeah, I learned it from my dad. Is what that kid would say.
Yeah, I
my
can't believe he
dad
won that game and he just got a dollar in pennies. So I have played that game and lost.
Yeah, that's the same as like Street Magic or like the Shell game or like 3-card Monty, where you think like, oh yeah, I got this handled, and then they just go, you don't even, not even close. You've been hoodwinked. That's it for you.
Yeah, sorry.
That's what I'm talking about, folks. That's hoodwinked.
Yep. That's hoodwinked. All right, time for our commercial break. And we'll see you guys back with DJ. We'll get back to the links.
Yo, DJ. The Dylan and Joe Basement Podcast is brought to you by Q-Tips. Walgreens brand cotton swabs. The next evolution of beauty products. You can use them to clean your ears. You can use them to clean your nose. Actually, I've been told that you're not allowed to use them for any of those things. So I think they're basically made to polish your figurines. I'm not really sure, but Walgreens brand cotton swabs. You use them for something. I'm not sure what. Legally, I'm not sure I'm allowed to say here. But we support our sponsors here. Thank you.
7th grade is when I found System of a Down, and it was like around that time period.
Yeah, dude, same. Because I forget what album just came out. My cousin Betsy liked them, and I got really drunk for the first time in my life to System of a Down with my cousins, and I think that was
that's fantastic. Yeah,
7th grade summer, like into 8th grade.
Can't beat that. What a summer that is.
Can't. So anyway, so let's spin this, boys. Spin this motherfucking wheel.
Spin the bottle.
Yeah, I'm so excited for you to meet DJ in person. He's very much looking forward to this. This is his first podcast.
I was so happy for him. Now I only have one screen next. My laptop is about to die, even though I charge it fully. I think it drains a lot out to power the microphone and everything else. So I'm going to share a screen, and then I'm going to have to open up the little thingamajigger here, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah, take your time. No one's in a rush.
Here we go. Like that.
So I am drinking Buffalo Trace bourbon today with DJ.
Ooh, Buffalo Trace. That's a real fucking. That's real. The real deal. That's a real podcast sponsor, I should say.
It is. I know you know that, and that's why I chose it. But I believed in the pitch that our friend gave, and that it's the oldest distillery in America. And I really think it might be the finest of the sub $40 bottle bourbons.
Is it that cheap?
Yes.
I did not know that. I thought it would be like at least like $70, you know?
Oh
just to
God,
be
no,
like...
dude, this full blown bottle of Buffalo Trace was about, I think I paid $32 for it. Bullet is $30, and Bullet is 4% more in alcohol, which isn't necessarily a good thing because two drinks.
You're gonna drink a bunch anyways. What do you need to have it super strong for? You know?
Yeah, you don't know, it's already strong, so I don't need an extra 4 or 7%, which a lot of bourbons have. You know, so like Buffalo Trace, it's a fine one, man. Like I've never made a mixed drink with it, but I'm sure it's great. But I'm a huge fan.
I would like to try it.
Yeah, we'll try it, man.
Righteous. All right, DJ VP.
DJ, hit the button, my friend. Hit the button. I'll give you a tap.
Diamond. Yeah.
Diamond. You like Neil Diamond, Joe?
Sweet Caroline's all I know, really, but that's a great song to me.
Yeah, I'm more of a Neil Young guy for going with Neil's.
Well, my first thought was Neil Young when you said that, but I go, wait a minute, Joe, that's not who we're talking about here.
We're talking about Diamonds. Yeah, Neil Diamond's fine.
All right, I mean,
all good, but Diamonds are absolutely incredible.
I understand that they're forever. I've been told.
I have been told that, but they're not. Probably the most non-forever thing is the meaning behind a diamond, because the divorce rate's 50% in America.
Well, that's the genius. I mean, I don't know if it's either cigarettes or diamonds have the best marketing scheme of all time. One of them is you need this and you want this, but under the table, it's gonna fucking kill you and all your kids. The other one is it's a piece of rock, and if you don't give this to somebody, then you don't truly love them, and then you're a piece of shit. Like, what a great marketing scheme. And everyone in the world bought into both of those. Cigarettes are smoked around the world, and diamonds are pushed around the world, and they're basically just a piece of rock that looks pretty, I guess. And not only that, but they're throttled by market share. I mean, De Beers organization owns, I think it's about 40-50% of the world's diamonds, and they release for market about half of that, which means they have twice the world's diamonds in vaults to artificially increase the value. Yeah. What a fucking scam that is. Buy me one of these, you don't love me, and my parents think you're a piece of shit. And that organization is just stroking themselves to the fucking blood diamonds. And not to mention the fact that there are children dying over this shit, but who cares?
However,
buy more of them.
So we now have the technology to make artificial diamonds, and nobody can tell the difference.
Right. And they're a lot cheaper, but it's not real. So you don't really love me, though, do you?
Yeah, exactly. So
it looks the exact same way, but unless kids in Africa got their dad's arms cut off, then do you really love me?
Yeah, that's a great point. So
it's fucking ridiculous. Diamonds are a joke to me. Sorry, go ahead.
So they are a joke to you, but if I were to lay out some of the finest things that the earth has produced naturally, diamonds would be number one. And here's why. So for things that we like, they have no value in space besides their conductivity properties.
They do have value inherently between their tensile strength and their kind of there's something there.
Strong. There's a lot to do with diamonds, where like when we go back to the Egyptians, and we have conspiracies about the pyramids, there's two elements that come to mind, and it's gold and diamonds. You know, like
I'm not actually sure. I kind of went along with you that diamonds are conductive, but are they conductive electronically?
Absolutely. I used to use diamonds in the Dunkin' Donuts headset repair business.
Oh, okay, yeah,
right on. Motherboards that would be, when you go to Dunkin' Donuts, they still use the same ones that I used to repair.
Because I know that gold is, but both those things are very shiny too, and they look pretty, and they're rare.
Diamonds absolutely are used in old school motherboards and stuff like this, for sure.
Gotcha.
Diamonds are conductive. So And yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're using technology. However, so here's my thought.
But
on
that's not their
diamonds.
main value. If they were just used for circuitry, they wouldn't be worth nearly as much as they would for what they use it for the most, which is not
Well,
just
we
saw
could do our
blades.
we could do our
They're
facts on
they're
this. I
made to
mean,
dangle on your ears and be fat and sassy.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Arguably, what is bringing in more money for diamonds, consumerism or industry? I'm not sure. So
I'll
because
tell
I
you
know
right
that
now. I mean, look at platinum. Platinum
probably
is as rare as a metal as gold, but it's strictly used for industry and mechanics and things like that. It's not as pretty. And diamonds can be used for both, but they're mostly used for being pretty.
I question you on this one. We should probably ask our listeners because
Let's hear
I
it.
think in industry they're used for conductivity pieces as well as I've ever heard of diamond bits like for drilling. So
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about with saw blades and
yeah,
hard.
they have genuine diamonds on the end of them that
Yeah,
they're small pieces, but they're so strong that
they're
use
so
them. So like
strong. Yeah.
so as far as like how many people are getting engaged per year versus how many people are cutting and using these for mining, like arguably mining.
I can hear
So
that, but do you think they're being sold in the same way because of the fact that the diamonds, like per ounce or whatever, being used for actual mechanical use? Maybe those are just much cheaper because they're sold from a different company. But like the
they could be
diamonds you have on
cheaper
your
and they don't.
finger are upcharged by like 100 times just because of the fact that you're going to get married or
Well,
where,
absolutely. So
or if you're a running back in the NFL and you get your rookie contract, you put them in your ears. Like that's what diamonds make their money off of, not off of selling them to industry.
Well, here's the thing. It's not, it's both. We just
It is
don't know
both.
which one. We don't know which one makes more money. So here's the thing. So from personal experience, I have no diamonds on me at the moment. I have just gold. And I have given 16 plus diamonds to somebody, plus a morganite stone for the center. So it's very important that you don't understand what morganite is. So
I don't understand what morganite is.
So on the engagement band, it's covered in diamonds on the outside, and then the center is morganite because it's more unique.
But what is morganite?
I'll tell you in a second. So let me get a story. So like the diamonds are on the outside, and they glisten. They're beautiful. It's like you cannot fake this with glass. You can. It's a diamond shines like nothing else, and it does not.
Cubic zirconium does a pretty good job as a facsimile to me for my untrained eye.
Zirconium. Okay, yeah, probably. But like your skin has oils and these things, and diamonds are just not porous at all. They stay shiny always, no matter what. When you clean them, they get shinier, but overall, they always look good. And they're super strong and they're beautiful, and nothing is like that. And it's made by the earth. Morganite is absolutely astounding for like 5 days, and then your body oils fill in the pores of it. So it's just as strong and has the same properties, but
it's just porous. More porous.
Yeah, and it has a pink hue to it. And it's fucking looks so good next to diamonds. So it's like, so diamonds have they got a good thing going on because it looks good always, no matter what. You don't have to do a lot of work to them. You don't have to say, hey, this looks beautiful for 3 days. Then you have to do work. They always look good. And then also, so I'm wearing gold right now, and gold is fucking sick and so cool and has a lot of properties, but it scratches so easily. So then it gets faded. Diamonds,
because gold's a very soft metal. Yeah, strange.
So soft. Diamonds don't have any of these things. Diamonds are good. So that's diamonds. That's all I got. I love diamonds. Huge fan.
Good times never seem so good. Thanks, Neil.
All right, DJ, what's up, bro? What are you gonna do? All right, dog, we're counting down. We got some shit. I hope it's drugstore. DJ, give us a rip. Lucky. We just had St. Patrick's Day, and Dylan and Joe are mostly Irish.
So I honestly, I get to pick the pictures for the subjects, but I think that this one might have been better suited without a picture, because I think it's better suited to talk about without St. Patrick's Day. The concept of luck.
Yep.
Are people lucky, unlucky? I mean, obviously, there's people, you're so fucking lucky. You had this happen to you, had that happen to you. But in my mind, my like analytical, skeptical mind of the world, obviously probability ends up certain ways. And some people hit a 6 or they hit the fucking lottery more than once. But I don't think that there's any inherent thing that's luck, truly.
Yeah.
I think everything is random, like the wheel. And if it was really lucky, you would have hit lucky 3 times in a row. I don't think that luck is a true thing. I think it's a feeling, and it's a human-based pattern recognition way to ascribe meaning to things that happen to people. You say, oh, you're lucky, something good happened to you. Oh, you're unlucky, something bad happened to you. When I don't think that it actually exists at all. I think that luck is completely a human construct. What do you think?
I don't believe in luck. I know that you can look at the world one of two ways, is that if you wake up every morning and do an audit of your problems and also of your blessings, you can choose. And no matter what happens to you, you can still choose. Everybody has that choice. It's incredibly hard to do that because shit sucks probably most of the time.
Of course.
But it's incredibly hard no matter what you're given. But some of the happiest people I've ever met claim to be luck is never something that they mention. Like they might have got a cancer diagnosis and they are just like, you know what, today's a fucking awesome day. All's good. You know, like, and some people who
that's a good point
really
too. People never talk about
problems.
luck with medical problems. They never go, oh, cancer, unlucky.
I'm so unlucky. I got cancer. It's like, no, it's just
unlucky.
They wake up and they go, I'm fucking happy to be alive. I wish I had what other people had sometimes, but overall, all is good. And those people are mentally more strong than some people who really don't have any problems, who just go to the grocery store and they're out of fucking guacamole and they go, I'm so unlucky. It's a mindset.
My luck's
I do
run
not
out.
believe. And then there are people who die in airplane, car, whatever, crashes, whatever it is. And are they unlucky? I mean, theoretically, if they've been on 10,000 airplanes and all of a sudden that one that just crashed in China, little unlucky due to definition. But is that due to them being unlucky? No, it's just that's just shitty circumstances. I don't think. I'm not really one who believes in luck because, you know, luck has a lot to do with, you know, the outcomes, because more of chance. Like, you know,
I've heard it as described as preparation meets opportunity.
Yes, but there are some people who do. So I believe in. So I don't believe in luck. I believe in right place, the right time.
How do you distinguish those?
I don't. I really,
because you said chance and right place, right time, which in my mind are all synonyms for luck.
Yes. So it's a give and take. So you might get success in career, but you have less success. It's all relative, and I don't think that there's a, you know, like you're someone who really, some people firmly believe in luck. So you look at it and you go, hey, you know what? That just worked out really well for them due to timing and place. And that's cool. But is it luck? You could probably call it that, but it's not what traditionally people think of when they're like, those people are like, that's a lucky person. It's like they always,
you can just call it that. It's us ascribing the word to other things. Yeah, because it is. You could be lucky. I was my lucky pair of shoes. And every time something bad happens when you're wearing them, you just forget about it. And every time something good happens, you go, oh, what shoes were I wearing? Oh, my lucky shoes.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny?
I'm slightly superstitious with a couple of things. I mean, every
time
you're
not superstitious, you're a little stitious, as Michael Scott said.
There you go. So like, there's, just to wrap this up, there's a couple things I do. I've got a pair of shoes that have caught.
I know.
You know, I do have a pair of shoes that are my nicest pair of shoes I bought when I was 18 that I still have. That.
Oh, I forgot that my background says "press your luck." I was like, I waited for it.
There you go. I didn't realize that. So like, I got a pair of shoes, and then every time I walk in an airplane, I tap the airplane twice, just to give it a good blessing.
Brush your teeth 5 times. Buckle your seatbelt 3 times. Touch your lips. Touch your nose.
Yeah,
touch your lips. Touch your nose.
I have a little bit of
skull.
those things, but that's more superstition than luck. So I don't know. Luck's a hard one.
Yeah, well, luck is the opposite side of bad luck. And if you're afraid of bad luck, you're just as afraid of luck.
I'm not afraid of bad luck. I think that, you know, everything's an opportunity. Shit sucks a lot, and it's your perspective that's really the issue.
I agree.
Because everybody has some form of this. So say they have 30
course.
years, 40 years of fucking good luck. And then the next 30 years kind of shitty, or they have it year on, year off, year this. Like it's all just perspective.
Of
And you just
course,
gotta,
yeah. You can't
like
be
you could be
lucky
having
forever.
the worst day in the entire world because of 5 different external factors.
Mhm.
And you could literally just decide to make them disappear in your head and then have the best day ever. You know,
Become lucky.
it's weird. It sucks, but it's strange. So anyways,
It's not real. It's a made up construct and it's fun to talk about, but it ain't fucking real.
yeah, it's something. So
I don't think we're gonna get to finish the wheel, but let's do a couple more.
no, yeah. How many more rounds do you want to do? So what's your thought? 2 more?
Let's do one more and take a commercial break, and then we'll do final thoughts and maybe do one more or whatever we want to do here.
Yeah. All right.
Because this one could be lame as hell and we'll just blow by it, and then we'll do.
Yeah, I mean, I
final
could do this
thoughts.
all night. I'm so excited to talk about all these things. This is a fun fucking format. So,
I like the
but
format.
we do have to put an end to this at one point.
Yeah, you can't do it forever.
It's how it goes. All right, DJ.
Let's do one more, and then we'll reassess, and then we'll see what.
Yeah.
Thank you, DJ. Animatronic. This is how you know I didn't load the board up. This is such a weird one.
No, but it's good, man. So, so my first thought is because of the picture, is because of famous Charles E. Cheese.
Yeah, that might be my first ever animatronic that I witnessed was Charles E. Cheese. Also known as Chuck E. Cheese.
Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah.
The fucking rat.
The big robot that plays or sings to the band where they play the music at the pizza place or the arcade. I mean, I love the shit out of that. It's just literally a robot that just moves around and it makes people feel like it's real. It's awesome.
Well, dude, and so when was Charles E. Cheese invented? Like 1980 tops, right?
Yeah, I think it's mid to late 80s, which is the arcade boom plus the mass marketing. We can have pizza, have kids there, and they just chained it out. I actually don't know how far it spreads. It's definitely dead now. Not out of business, but definitely not its heyday. I had to have been after the arcade boom, the 80s. We're talking Pac-Man, we're talking Donkey Kong, quarter swallowing. I mean, it's like having Candy Crush Saga come out. It's like it's a world beater.
Yeah,
like it changed people's minds on what should be in malls. It's like, oh shit, you can just make this video game and people will spend $300 a day. I mean, in total, not one single person, but just quarters are getting fed. They were paying mortgages off of their fucking mansions with these quarter swallowing machines in the 80s. And they're like, well, what if we could make this arcade into an entire miniature Disneyland, and we'll build the animatronics that they have at Disneyland, the what do you call it? Splash Mountain with hey, they're all Peter Pan and everybody else. They do all the Disney things. They have Jafar and Peter Pan, everybody doing the moving around. It looks like a real character. We're like, fuck that. Let's just make an arcade in Massachusetts with the same shit. We'll just have them on the stage. They'll come out there. They'll do a 10-second show. They'll look like they're real giant animals, mascots, and then we'll sell arcade coins all day long. And they made a lot of money with that.
Yeah, all I have to say is that like that guy, let's say his name is Charles, just must have fucking slept so well at night, just knowing that he put so
Charles
much
Fromage
effort into making like this place. He's like, I got $100,000 to use as startup capital to make something fucking make a banger,
Next level.
like for kids. And he goes, all right, we're gonna have a band up there full of animatronic fucking rats. And then then a shit like pizza made of fucking plastic, and then a bunch of games, and then this, and like kind of dark.
Tickets going. It's basically kid gambling. It's great. It's a kid casino. You got the showgirls. The showgirls is a giant rat and the Grimace knockoff and a dog with a banjo. You got the casino games instead of slot machines. It's fucking Pac-Man and skee ball. And then instead of booze and steaks, we got pizza and soda. So it's basically kid gambling right there. It's a perfect fucking setup.
So much sense,
and you're making their parents money too, because you can't go alone. Kids can't go alone.
No, they're buying shit. I'm just so jealous of his business model. I think it's fucking sick, and it's awesome. Like, it's so cool. Like I'm totally down with Chuck E. Cheese. I never spent a lot of time there because I was more of a Fun Spot kid.
Oh, well, don't make it exclusive. I mean, I much prefer Fun Spot to Chuck E. Cheese, but I was a big fan of both.
Just saying. Animatronics, not as much Fun Spot, but I do appreciate animatronics. I mean, like anytime you go to a carnival, and I love carnivals, I love that vibe of carnival.
Yeah, the haunted. Let's not forget the haunted house animatronic. It didn't have to just be animals with fur on them. It could be giant skeletons and shit. Like animatronics are cool as hell.
Yeah, Space Mountain, dude. Like, dude, this shit fucking rocks.
All kinds of
I'm
cool
a
shit.
huge animatronic guy. It's like I'm a big fan of basic programming, which I understand. So like I can handle that. I can do that. Basic programming is not a problem for me. Mixed with caricatures is fun.
Yeah.
And
I hope it never goes out of business too, because obviously as we go into the future here, it's going to be head towards more virtual reality and computer generated images. They can look really intense. You can wear it around your goggles and look all cool, but there's something about that tangible nature of like seeing something move in front of you. Yeah. It can't really like, grab you or do anything else. It's just this kind of moving object, but it looks real and it's moving in your real space. You can reach out and touch it. I mean, I remember going on the Rise of the Rebellion ride at the new Star Wars part of Disney, and they're still doing animatronics. It's called animatronics, but they had C-3PO moving around. They had R2-D2 spinning his head around, and it was like something about that being like, I could watch a video of them and look into virtual space and be like, oh, isn't that cool? There's C-3PO. But to see him in the room and you're like, there he is. He's moving around. He looks real. Yes. He's talking to you. Like, there's something about that. You're like, animatronics kick ass because like it feels like that's really there. Although they can't do everything, they can do something so well, and that's touched the part of your imagination that believes things are real in the moment, and that just really grabs me.
Well, that's absolutely the essence of DJ BP.
And there he is.
And he's right here. Listen to this. Listen.
All you people who only listen to the podcast, you're missing out.
He's right here. DJ BP is our personal podcast assistant robot, and he is 100% real and animated.
He's all real.
And he is controlling the spins on the wheel virtually, like through technology, because he is a piece of technology. Yes, it's nice having something real here compared to VR,
you don't need to have your little green screen background of like a fake robot next to you. Like that looks cute, but who gives a shit? But DJ BP, he's visceral, he's intense, he's tangible. He's a podcaster.
He's a real robot. And if you guys want to see him get thrown through the windshield of a car, please Venmo us $35. And just send us an email at, what's our email? DylanJoeBasement@gmail.com.
Yep. DylanJoeBasement@gmail.com.
And then if you are committed, we'll send you our new Venmo account that we'll create at that time to make sure that we throw him through the windshield of a car, and we'll get it done within 6 months. Because
he wants to contribute to the podcast, and we love him for it.
We're raising money, and it's going to be good shit. That's just having something real is so important to us, the DJ BP.
Nothing more true than that. I think we should take our last commercial break before we get into the end of the pod. What do you think, Dennis? We'll see you in 2 and 2.
2 and 2. Hence the bells.
The Dylan Joe Basement Podcast is also brought to you by Isopropyl Alcohol, 70% brand. Used for disinfecting, cleaning, and all-around household fun. If you have a wound, if you have a headache, if you have a hangover, the best to use. You see, it's 70% alcohol, so although it tastes like hell, you feel like heaven. And I won't tell your sponsor. You can just hide it in your medicine cabinet and say it's for cleaning your pipes. Who really cares? It's isopropyl alcohol, the best brand of getting oh my goodness, she is so wow. This is America. It truly is a great country. We appreciate your listenership, folks. We'll see you next time on Dylan Joe Basement Podcast.
And we're back at the Dylan Joe Basement Podcast. Hey, folks.
All right, DJ, give us a fucking rip, my boy.
We thank you for sponsoring our supporting our sponsors, Moxie and Ajax Dish Cleaner. We're back to the show now.
DJ
An
BP,
Ajax
can
guy?
you give us a spin?
Ajax is good. I believe in Dawn. DJ, spin, dude. I do like Dawn. I believe in the bird thing, you know? Swamp. Wow.
I always use Dawn.
Okay,
Swamp.
so
Swamp is
we have two
our
more.
next word.
We have two more left.
So we had
You want to get started? Or you want me to get started?
Oops.
Oh, we're gonna do swamp.
No, we're still using swamp. Swamp. I don't know. I'll start it. I think that I associate immediately with the bog, which is by the Morrow's house in the back, and there's a difference between a bog and a swamp and a marsh for sure. But yeah, swamps they're interesting. They're not comforting. That's one thing that like most humans don't have in common. Like the wet and the cold, constantly wet and just swampy. It's not a good association with like being comfortable and living there. And a lot of weird legends come off there, whether it's the witch of the bog or like Shrek, the ogre lives in a swamp. I mean, swamps are part of the environment. They need to be there. They thrive, as an ecosystem, but no one wants to live in a swamp with all the mosquitoes and leeches and the growth. And it's the perfect ecosystem for filth and parasites. And it's so cool looking, but I mean, I don't want to be like living in the swamp. You better put your waders on.
Couldn't say it better myself. I never realized that, like, I never thought too much about the difference of what makes a swamp a swamp.
Versus a bog versus a marsh.
Yeah, marshes are salt water usually, and they're open,
right, so
no
they're
trees.
Estuaries near the ocean, right?
They're very open, like a bog is more of like, you think of cranberries, also open. A swamp is.
It's funny because a bog to me seems like more closed off. Cranberry bog could be called a cranberry marsh in my mind.
Exactly, 100%. So I'm thinking like cranberry bog is a marsh with cranberries in it. Only it's more open. It's like a small lake inside of a marsh is a cranberry bog for the ones that I've seen.
Yeah.
A swamp is, a lot of wetlands have swamps,
Wetland is certainly wetlands, and it's stagnant water.
But I think that's the best way to put it, is that it's essentially, a lot of times you get swamp when you create a road through a lake area. You get swamps because it's not
so low.
water.
It's so below the sea level that the water pools down to it.
Well, what happens is you put a road through an area that has even just a small stream, and then that road, and then that stream gets redirected and has nowhere to flow, so it just pools up in one area alongside of a road or something like that. And that area was once fertile soil with trees and leaves and little hills and rocks and fucking animals and shit like that. And
real quick aside, the swamps that, I mean, obviously they're so disassociated with like human health, they're so gross and nasty, but as far as fertility, there's all kinds of shit going down there. I mean, that soil is fertile. It's got all the decomposing bodies of every animal that's ever lived there for the past 100 years.
And
it's
human, but human. A lot of swamps that you see are actually because they put a road through a stream, and then that stream had nowhere to go, so it filled up. And then that's why you see, if you're driving on a road ever, and you see a lot of dead trees off the side of, let's say, 95, like Route 95 through Massachusetts, New Hampshire, you see like those areas that have just like these big, super tall, dead gray trees that never fell over. It's because 95 was built. That was an area that had just a small creek, and then that creek got blocked and then filled that whole area. Now it looks like a lake with a bunch of dead trees in it. That's realistically a swamp. It's full of organic material so if you were to jump in there within feet, you would be in dead leaves and gross shit, like it's shitty, just shitty shit, just bullshit. You can't swim in it because it's full of shit, because it was once the forest. Swamps, I feel like, were once
it's the forest becoming, it's wetlands, flooded. Forest becoming flooded and then staying there for however long until humans think it's gross, for sure.
Yeah, exactly. So it has no value to us, it has value to mosquitoes, which is always
the parasites, to brain-eating amoebas. I think it's also worth mentioning that it's one of the best ways to preserve decomposing things. As much as it is great for like all the parasites of the world, it's not open air. And because of the sealed water, it's almost as good as ice in freezing in bodies. And they still find bodies from the medieval era in Scotland in bogs and swamps that have been preserved so well by the swamp water because it's not salty in swamp, it's not open air, and it's contained. So if it hasn't been decomposed to the point of bones yet, they oftentimes will pull up a body. They pulled up a body not that long ago that was from the era of like swords and spears from when right before Rome left the British Isles. And they found a body in there, the Swamp Man of Scotland. It's not as old as the Iceman of Nepal from like the Neolithic times, but it's still, for whatever reason, the chemicals, the environment of bogs, they can still preserve bodies very well, which means that it's not a good place to dump a body, even though it looks creepy.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. All I have to say before I move to our next topic is, what are you doing in my swamp?
That's my swamp. I like layers. Oh, have layers.
All right, DJ, give us a fucking pull start on
Give
this.
us our final spin here there, buddy. Ready? Let's go.
Yeah, just rip that pull cord.
You know what? I'm gonna really fucking come on, DJ.
All right, DJ, give it a rip. There we go. That's what I'm saying, man. My man, pump wrestling, almost dimension.
Oh, dude, we gotta get one more in.
Yeah.
That can't be our last one.
One more. Sorry, guys. Sorry, everyone.
All right, sorry. Dimension, I thought was an okay one if it was early on, but we don't have time to go into dimensions.
No,
I'll do a quick bit on it right now.
And fourth dimension, and the fourth dimension is confusing because dimension is mixed with time and space, and it's complicated.
Yeah, it just sucks that that time is the same thing as space, which is really annoying. Like
it's
growing up, I was like, why is the fourth dimension time? Just because we ran out of ideas. But then realizing that Albert Einstein and his colleagues proved that space and time are actually the same thing, it's really annoying. I mean, it's fascinating, it's cool, but it's just for your regular brain. You're like, oh, come on. It's just like, it's too much.
I can't comprehend it. And I know it's mathematically proven, but like if me and you were in space, time is the same, but then we come back to Earth. The difference is that if you come into Earth, it's different, but overall when you're there, it's not like me and you are like,
you don't experience it differently, but it is different. Yeah. I mean, like when people come down from the International Space Station, they are younger than people the same age as them because they're experiencing time slower.
But it's exclusive to people born on this planet, and that's why it's so confusing. And as far as
time is relative to no matter where you are. It's just the speed of how you're traveling through space indicates how much time is being enacted on yourself.
Right. And as far as different dimensions go, like what's that movie? Interstellar is a good example of a mind fuck of like confusing you with Matthew McConaughey when he's essentially in a tube looking at his daughter's life in different floors. And it's like, but it's like, I know that is technically sort of reality, but like, is it? I don't know.
No, I think that's a movie representation of the mathematic description of what dimensions are. Because as far as we know, with theoretical physics, it goes up to 11 or 12 dimensions, but at some point it just gets completely fucking out of control. I think the fifth dimension, as much as us humans can understand kind of in our minds. Beyond that, it's like, it's all tubes.
Yeah, it's that's another podcast. So let's that's
another podcast. There's no time. Let's do our final topic here. Give us a good spin, DJ.
Yeah, DJ, this old two-stroke. Hope we get wrestling. Make it happen. So close.
Hysterical. I love it. Hysterical. You know what? Let's do a hysterical and then we'll hit wrestling for our last topic. Just because we do the game show, but it's still our podcast, isn't it?
Hysterical. Yeah, exactly. We got to do wrestling. We'll do
hysterical and wrestling and then kill this wheel.
Yeah, exactly. So hysterical is really an emotion. It's nothing else. It's the definition of an emotional response.
my first response to hearing this is that, first of all, I use the word hysterical to be very funny. Funny to the point of like laughing too hard. Like, that shit was hysterical. Like, how funny was that? It's hysterical. It's so funny.
But it's yeah.
My closest association with hysterical is that it's associated with women in the 1800s. It's a diagnosis. Much like the word moron and idiot, it was a medical diagnosis back in that time where they would say, well, your wife, you know, she's upset all the time and she's sad and she's acting crazy. She must be hysterical. It can't be because you're a complete piece of shit as a husband and you're locking her up in your house alone. It must be because she's hysterical. And one of the first inventions of the electric age is a tool used to cure women's hysteria. And Dylan, do you know what that tool is that was made by doctors to cure hysteria, particularly in women?
I do. It goes up their vagina and electrocutes them.
It does. It's called the vibrator, the very first hysteria reducing device.
If I was a girl, that would probably reduce it for at least a couple minutes.
I mean, I wouldn't hate the prescription, but what a condescending way to be like, I guess you've never had an orgasm ever, which makes you an angry old bitch. So you must have a medical disease called hysteria. And I guess if you have to be solved by this, we'll make an invention over it.
Man, is that such a guy invention? It's like,
it's the most guy invention of all time.
It's like, you know, look, you just haven't been laid in a long enough time, and you don't want you cannot. We need to,
you know, you keep nagging us. You must be hysterical.
Guy. So we're gonna make this to ease you into that because it's been so long since you've had real dick. So let's do this. And,
no, they've had real dick. It's just that ain't fucking doing anything.
Well, that's if you ask.
It's a husband who's like, I married you when you're 15 and I have 10 kids and I'm now moving on to my extra wives. And if you want to complain about that, then you probably have a mental disorder called hysteria. And that's your problem. Hopefully the doctor can solve it for you by inventing a device. Yeah. It must be the most anti-feminist, pro-feminist invention of all time. It's created by men to cure a mental disorder that doesn't exist. And now it's a very popular consumable product. Yeah,
by making a fake human organism, well, like appendage, basically. That's funny. That's fucking hilarious. No,
hysterical, I'd say.
Yeah, I also, people can hysterically cry too in sadness, you know, in depression. It's hysterical is a word, just like
getting
exciting.
Into hysterics.
It's just like exciting.
It's exciting to the point of losing control of your faculties.
Yep. So hysterical. I like to hysterically laugh. That's a moment where time freezes, and I miss doing that more. It's a good time. So,
want to close out wrestling?
It's fucking wrestling, dude. So, on to
ding,
wrestling.
Ding, ding. That was our last option.
Ding. Yeah, thanks for picking wrestling. You did a great job. So we're gonna wrap up this podcast with wrestling. And what wrestling is. I'm happy to start as a former wrestler because that's not what we want to talk about today. Collegiate and high school wrestling is awesome, and I will never watch it, but I appreciate it, and I did it. So
it's the number one sport that people did that won't watch because the most popular version of it is a stage play.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, the people who do it are very impressive, but professional wrestling on television isn't the same as like collegiate wrestling, which is like the old Greek wrestling where you both get naked, you get all oiled up, and you get down in the dirt and just really dominate someone with your physical form. Am I right?
Well, that's what I'm talking about. So like that's why I joined wrestling, you know, like wrestling is because I wanted to do the most primitive form of showing myself how tough I am physically.
It might be the earliest sport, arguably the earliest sport ever invented. Wrestling.
Yeah, like, hey, who can pin each other while we're naked on the ground and tell the other person they're a bitch? That's what it is.
Yeah.
And it was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. And
you were the hardest you've ever been in your life.
And the hardest I've ever been in my life.
Diamonds.
Diamond hard. But no, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed wrestling. That was my favorite sport I ever played.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, it was fun. It was just like it was a group of people who 9 out of 10 of us joined the Marines, and in that crowd of like kind of like aloof, like tough guy who doesn't really like, he's just kind of like doesn't give a fuck, but can break
Mhm.
your head off, you know?
Yeah.
It was fun. So most people went like literally just joined the military in high school. They're like, yeah, so we're not good at school, so we're gonna wrestle and then join the military. And you're like, yeah, cool. I want to be with these guys. So
Hell yeah.
so it was fun. You get to prove yourself, and you just the second you might like overthink yourself, like I'm nervous to join a match, or whatever. And the second you're in it, you don't. There's no thinking. It's just primitive action, you know. And I really like that. And you will get your fucking ass kicked by someone who weighs 100 pounds less than you, and
Technique.
it's like then you can do all the same. It's like it was nice. So that's wrestling on that level of stuff. Like I highly recommend to kids. You probably won't get that hurt.
I think there's something to what you just said about being like you're so instinctually activating your muscles, just like doing it in the moment. And a lot of sports that's the appeal of them, right? Like it takes your head out of everything you're worried about and you're completely involved in this particular event. You're motivated by it, you're rewarded, you're chastised by it. You're so in the moment, and so many people are just searching for that kind of thing, whether it's yoga or stargazing or drugs or whatever it is. You're trying to separate yourself from always all your worries that are outside your head and just being part of the moment, and nothing really gets there like physical contact and trying to wrestle yourself through it. And that's got to be the part of the appeal of it. I mean, it just
yeah, and I've done it all. I really genuinely have as someone. And yoga it's your choice. You have to have the mental strength to put yourself in a place where you can separate. Wrestling, you go into it questioning life. You could have an existential crisis. And you go, this is all a bunch of bullshit. Fuck this organized group of people trying to do whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then someone is what feels like trying to kill you. And you go, I'm not gonna let that happen. So the second that snaps, you're all of a sudden like just fighting for your life. And
Yeah.
you might be able to get them in a position that can like pull them down or whatever. And you
can't worry about your paycheck or your flat tire or whatever. It's like you're just there.
But not even that. I'm saying to a deeper level of existential depression and crisis is that
survival instinct.
You go, those thoughts that I had about the world around me are not serving me right now. So they are not happening. You go, I just want to make sure that I'm able to fucking breathe and take this and keep myself alive. So all that shit that you manufactured in your brain, that you read from poetry, that you got because you did too many drugs or whatever your fucking problem is.
It's all cute in theory.
Is out because you want to make sure that you're gonna not die. And but you're safe because you're wrestling with people, not
there's people watching you, but that is the most animalistic human instinct to survive.
So you go that you all of a sudden it just removes the world around you in a way that yoga cannot do, that nothing else can do, because you are a male in a male dominated environment trying to kill someone, and it's fucking great, and I miss it a lot. So
the Call of the Wild,
where like you drive right back to hunter-gatherer moments and nothing else matters, and then it's like it's a nice thing. So that's wrestling on that level. Then there's fun wrestling, which is the WWE or F, which is located just outside New York City, and that's fucking hilarious. And everyone who hasn't seen it yet, get the fuck onto Mickey Rourke, the wrestler of the movie.
It's a soap opera with dudes who are huge.
Yes, but the movie, The Wrestler with Mickey Rourke, is one of the most meaningful, absolutely amazing movies I've ever seen in my life. And it's not like, oh, it's about wrestling. It's like, yeah, it is, but he's also banging Mr. Tomei and doing coke in bathrooms.
It's like his movie Barfly if he worked out.
I haven't seen it, but I'll take that.
It's the same movie except he's jacked instead of drunk.
Okay, well, he's drunk too.
Right. So you can imagine how drunk he is in Barfly.
Okay, I haven't seen, but you've seen The Wrestler?
Yeah, I've seen it both.
Oh, I fucking love The Wrestler, man. It's
it's very good. I don't mean
it's a beautiful movie. This isn't one of those movies that's like, oh, it's stupid.
It was nominated for Best Picture.
Yeah, and it should have been. Like
agreed.
It's a for those of you listening, this is a movie you need to see. It's not a like, oh, it's a movie about wrestling. It's like, no, this is it's a
human story.
Passionately meaningful human story, that wrestling is a part of it, but
Mhm.
it's not like, oh, like I didn't like that wrestling. I liked what I did, but it's like so good. So we have that wrestling with the chairs and this, that, the other thing, and then that's wrestling, right, Joe?
I think so.
Yeah.
And that's that sound means we're out of time here, folks. See you next week on Jeopardy. Okay.
Oh, thanks, Joe.
Episode 6. I mean, I can't imagine where we're gonna go from here. We already ran out of ideas 5 episodes in. So I mean, I can't even think of what we do. Maybe episode 7, episode 8.
No
Maybe
one
for our
even
10th
knows,
episode, we'll do
man,
something
dude.
funny. I don't even know. This podcast, I'm so excited about it, where it's gonna go. And hopefully I'll remember to upload this week. And if not, I'll upload it whenever I think about it, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And just remember
But
that.
yeah, this is episode 6. It's about the wheel of time and the wheel of spinning and wrestling, and it's all kinds of cool shit. So this podcast, I think it's going places. And I hope that at least a year from now, we can do like an anniversary episode, or maybe we can do like a, just like a year-long retrospective. I mean, I hope we make it a year. I don't know, but I like the way this podcast is going. And although we're only 6 episodes in, I feel like we've been doing this forever.
I feel like it's been a while, and we our podcast is has a mission statement, and it's really just about exploring the world, enjoying our time together, and taking it as it comes. Like we're here
Yep.
for you guys organically. No one's
Exactly
trying
right.
to get out there and do crazy shit. Like we're just happy to be there for you guys. And with
We
time,
take it as it comes, as Jim Morrison said.
with time comes great reward. As I think that's a quote from our friend Winston Churchill.
Anyway,
Yeah, it is. Yep, he knows better than anybody. So on the note, final thoughts. Joe, you want to start us off? Final thoughts?
sure. I love this format. Maybe we might do it every week from now on. Maybe episode 7 we'll do it, and maybe the whole year we'll do this format. I mean, I don't know. Who knows? I mean, I don't know what's going to happen to me. I mean, obviously this virus is stricken the whole planet. I mean, we all might be dead by next week. There's like no way, but I don't really know. It's just. Just like it. It's cool. It's cool. Go ahead and take from here.
So everyone just bear with Joe while he keeps crying. My final thoughts are that no one can predict where we're going with episode 7, because we could all just drop dead from the virus and all that shit. But we like where it's going. We're gonna be here for you guys while the world around you goes to shit. And we'll see you next week for episode 7. What do you think episode 7 is going to be about, Joe?
I got no idea.
I have an idea.
Why don't I just spitball while you think really hard? I don't know. Maybe it's about like I don't know. We're into all these kind of cool, weird mysteries and stuff like that. Maybe it'll be about like trains. Maybe about Dennis Rodman. I don't know. We're always up in the air, and we're always looking for responses there at home. I mean, we appreciate all our
actually,
viewers.
Weirdly enough, episode 7 could be about Nostradamus.
Really?
Wow! The end of Z World.
Wow. Well, we were just talking about the end of Z World. I mean, what's a better? At the time we're living in right now. I mean, who knows what day could come? So maybe the end of Z World is right around the corner.
Yeah, it could be episode 7.
That might be a very good topic to mention next week because of the times we're,
Yeah, I think so. So
we'll spin the wheel of fate.
Besides that, with the wheel though, like
we'll spin the wheel of fate and see what happens.
This is fun as fuck. I'm down with the wheel. This went so well. As I said, we could go at least another 4 hours talking about the rest of the wheel.
Yeah.
But we're gonna save you guys. We're gonna let you know what's up for next week, or even a couple days when episode 7 or more comes out. And we'll let you know. We'll see you guys then. But for now, it's Dylan, DJ BP, our exclusively made podcast robot, the first in the entire world, made of rare earth metals.
Go
And
DJ.
rare earth metals, light, strong, superior, fast, and intelligent, the first of its kind. If you guys have a podcast and need one, you hit us up. They're $500, and all of that money goes to charity, aka us, and we'll do good things with it, we promise. But if you do need a podcast robot, he is the first of the kind. He's got kids. He can make more of himself. He has exclusive rights to his design. And we'll see you guys next week for episode 7. We love y'all. And this Dylan Joe and Basin podcast. Get used to fucking, what do you call this? Plug and play, pray and roll. What's behind you, Joe?
Pray and spray. Press your luck.
Press your luck.
And we'll see you next week, ladies and gentlemen. Don't forget to spay or neuter your pets. Thank you.
Bring your pets. No, but I have
DJVP, he's visceral, he's intense, he's tangible. He's a podcaster.
He's a real robot, and if you guys want to see him get thrown through the windshield of a car, please Venmo us $35.
It's a piece of rock, and if you don't give this to somebody, then you don't truly love them, and then you're a piece of shit. Like, what a great marketing scheme. Can't
Slight
overthink
struggle,
things.
but you also are connected to everything. So galloping sounds fucking like a gigantic orgasm to me, and I'm so into it.
And I think all the horse girls of America can tell you it's exactly the same as that. All right,
And on
DJ
that note,
VP, let's hear the
We
next one.
fucking nailed it. So on that note, DJ is gonna bring us back a fabulous game, much like Spin the Wheel, called Ookie Gookie Cookie. Do you want to tell everyone what that is?
I sure
Because
will.
I do know that you were responsible for training an intern relatively recently.
You see the secondary video and you see like 9 dudes recording it and none of them make a sound. Like, imagine if that was planned, everyone would be like, oh shit, oh, but they all just go. Because they realize how fucked up it is.
How much commitment this
Silent.
fucking
Silent.
psycho. This kid is he's going down as a legend, and he's like, no, this was a
Absolute legend. It's cool.